Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be discussing the rhetorical triangle and how that relates to making a good argument. But first, before I talk about the rhetorical triangle, I need to talk about the man behind it, someone by the name of Aristotle. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher born in 384 BC. He wrote extensively on a variety of subjects, including physics, logic, language, music, biology, politics, etc. He died in the year 322 BC at the age of 37. Among his accomplishments were the teaching and training of Alexander the Great, as well as significantly influencing, long after his death, the philosophy in Islam, as well as Christianity and Judaism. Let me give you a quote about what Aristotle thought rhetoric was. It is clear, then, that rhetorical study, in its strict sense, is concerned with the modes of persuasion. For Aristotle, there were three different things that would help an argument be its most persuasive. And that's how we get to the rhetorical triangle. These three supports are first, logos, the logical part of the argument; second, Pathos, the emotional appeal of the argument; and then finally, Ethos, the credibility that you as the speaker have. Logos is the cold steel structure around which your argument needs to be built. These are the numbers that you use to back yourself up, the statistics, the studies. It's important to have this because without it, the logic behind your argument will fall apart. Pathos is the emotional side to your argument. It's how you get people to connect with what you're talking about, how you get them to care. However, you need to be careful, because if you have too much emotion, then it may come across as manipulation rather than trying to get people with a connection. Ethos is the credibility of the speaker. A speaker with good credibility is more likely to believe than a speaker with low credibility. For example, you're more likely to believe a doctor when they're talking about your medical condition than you would an accountant. An accountant is definitely great when it comes to money, but you wouldn't trust them when they're talking about new types of surgery. The rhetorical triangle is a bit like a stool. If one of the legs is too long, then you're going to fall over. The same goes with each of the points for the rhetorical triangle. If you have too much logos, too many numbers, but not enough pathos, then all it comes across as is a bunch of numbers. People don't have a reason to care. However, if you have too much pathos and not enough logos, then people feel manipulated, and the reasons for why they should care, or the justifications, aren't as strong. When it comes to ethos, or credibility, if you have too much of it, without enough logic and emotion to back it up, then you come across as pompous, and people aren't as likely to believe you because you're just banking on your credibility without the other points of the triangle. This is why the rhetorical triangle is important. Each one of the points on the triangle should, like a stool, fairly support your argument. Have too much of one support, and your argument falls over. Have too little of one support, and your argument falls over still. That's why whenever you're making an argument, you need to make sure that it's fairly balanced between the logic, the emotion, and the credibility. Thank you very much for once again listening to me. And I will see you all next time, and in the meantime, I hope that you have a good time.